Oh, what a cool custom logo. And I really appreciate how they've gone to the effort of having like a console startup screen. Hello everyone, and welcome to Haunted PS1 Demo Disc 2020. An anthology of faux PS1 horror games that's been a real long time coming. You guys have been suggesting that I play these pretty much since I've been making videos, and I am certainly excited to finally get to it. Now this presentation is extremely nostalgic to me, because as a kid, one of my first experiences with PlayStation gaming was, I don't know if they still do it, but I would get the official PlayStation magazine, and in the middle of the magazine, there would be a little sleeve with a disc where you could see previews and play demos of all the upcoming PS2 games. I remember thinking they were so cool, not just because I could try out all these different games for free, but they also had these really interesting backgrounds, and I was really sad when they stopped doing them. Like, the ones that, I think the first ones that I got, the one where I learned about Kingdom Hearts, it was like you were in a submarine, and there was this whole 3D underwater environment, and anytime you moved to a different menu item, the submarine would sail around and look at different objects. I wanted that to be a real game so bad, and I was so stoked when Subnautica finally came out, but anyway, I'm getting off track. This is basically simulating one of those, a demo disc made from a collection of faux PS1 style horror games, I believe all made by different creators. I think there's 17 on this in total, and the first one is Ode to a Moon. Let's begin. Ooh, each one's got its own screen. Let's read the description first. For centuries, the town of Ashfeld has celebrated Thanksgiving with a week-long festival. But everything changed in 1986. What happened? I love that. I love horror games whose premise actually has you wondering what did happen, and not just what there is to it, and not just what's going to happen to you. Alright, I'm not going to spend a long time on every description. We've got a lot to get through. Hello? Oh, okay, it just took a minute to load. Why is Steam VR opening? There we go. There we go. Is this the tape? Yes. The only one? As far as we can tell. Are you sure? Nominally. There might be others. Word from the sheriff's office? None yet. It's been months. Yes. Location? Upstate. Assignment? The Ashfield Harvest Festival. Jesus. Yes, tragic. Are you all set? Yes. I'll find out what happened. Good. We're counting on it. Okay, so... Oh, wow, look at this. Not only has it opted for the low-resolution style of PS1 games, kind of similar to No One Lives Under the Lighthouse, but look at the edges of the screen. It's also kind of slightly curved, almost to simulate the screen of a CRT. Oh, that's real interesting, but I believe these are made in Unity. This is already so deeply atmospheric. 56K can wait. I need to go to the bathroom first. Okay. Was that a scare, or was that just me turning on the light? That eerie soundtrack certainly would indicate that it was a scare. A small journal with doodles. East of Eden, Steinbeck, The Dunwich Horror, Lovecraft, The Gilded Age, Twain. Alright, what else do we do? Oh, it's... Oh, I see. We've skipped forward until the next morning. This must be the day I set out for Ashfield. Alright, the door is open, which means we can leave. What was that? Oh, so that wasn't just a glitch. My character perceived that. Things are beginning to happen even before we've left our apartment. Oh no! There's Gary's mod missing textures. Oh, but look at this. This first-person perspective, it's so interesting to see modern ideas in horror being portrayed through the lens of old-style graphics. Like, look, we can see that rolling landscape in the background and the silhouettes of other passengers in the next car. You know, come to think of it, first person was actually a pretty rare perspective to see in the PS1 era, if I remember correctly. I think it has something to do with being a little bit more intensive to render. I could be wrong about that. Oh, what's happening? Oh, this is making me a little bit sick. I think I'm still moving around the cabin, but I can't see anything. I think all of this is supposed to be happening in real time. Happening to my character, actually perceiving these jumps in time. From night to morning, from apartment to train. It's incredible to think all of this forest grew in the last 100 years or so. Okay, well, what else do I do? Am I just waiting to arrive? There's noticeably fewer people on the train now. Oh, that is such a neat way to convey just how far out this thing is, and the fact that this is the end of the road. Showing the sky begin to dim, indicating that it takes a whole day to get here by train, and looking into the other cars and seeing the passengers thin out. The path illuminated by the one streetlight overhead. Oh, flocks of birds in the distance. And the sounds of crickets and cicadas in the background. Oh, we're getting even more meta with this. Even the observations are being corrupted. And as we walk down the path, it starts us right back at the train. Almost as if the last few seconds didn't even happen. It's like we never actually stepped down at all. Okay, I'm not going to analyze every little thing like this. We've got 17 games to get through, and it's going to take us forever if I do that. An old ticket booth or newsstand? It's not seen action in decades. Now, I'm not quite sure if they said how long this disaster happened ago. The syntax of that sentence was not entirely correct. I'm not sure I'd live here. I'm sure it's gorgeous during the day, but the nights are so ominous. I don't know, I'm finding it pretty gorgeous right now. Look at that sky. The lights on in the window? Oh, it's just the train leaving. Gosh, that was scary. Yeah, you're telling me. A little awkward, though, how those subtitles are tied to certain locations. So if I go back, yeah, I can get it to trigger again. It seems like it has to do with where I'm looking. I'm waking the whole neighborhood up thanks to these dogs. You sure the crickets weren't already doing that? They're so loud. As we move away from the lights of the houses, the path begins to noticeably dim. Oh, it is only almost pitch black. Can't see a thing. Maybe you should have brought a light with you if you knew you were going to be getting here so late. The cicadas and the crickets almost deafening at this point. This looks like a forest of souls. This is actually reminding me of the ending of the Chillizart game, The Ghost Train. And now not only can I not see as the mist swirls around me and odd lights glow in the distance, I've completely lost any semblance of a path. I should really be turning back, but yeah, getting tangled in all sorts of shrubbery. I am already lost 2 feet into this thing. Where am I even going? Really hard to see. Yeah, this is not a sound course of action. Without so much as a flashlight, I'm actually relying on the otherworldly glow that's overtaken this region. Which is kind of a good sign that your plan is not exactly going as expected. Covered in thorns and scratches. Yeah, I'm being physically injured now. I could definitely use a more solid strategy. Wait, what was that? I'm getting lost. Getting lost? Son, you were lost a long time ago. A way out? It doesn't look like much of a way out to me. Have we opened a portal to Oblivion? That can't be the moon. Yes, this is giving me such strong flashbacks to the Ghost Train. Just walking the tracks after getting off a train and finding yourself in an otherworldly dimension. With such a soft transition, I actually like how I got to this completely alien landscape only by walking off the trail into the woods. And now I find myself in what I can only describe as ancient ruins. Okay, I can jump. This does not look like any upstate I know. What state doesn't matter. This doesn't look like anything in America. You know, there's actually been a fair variety of different directions I could travel. I wonder if there's actually a whole forest to explore and I could have ended up somewhere different. What's good, though, is that I'm pretty high up now. Maybe I can get a better view of what's going on around me. Are those lit candles? I don't think full lunar eclipses are supposed to happen that quickly. The world is completely degraded around me, and it's at this point that I'm starting to think I haven't moved to another dimension. I think my character's cracking up. Because remember, all of this was happening even before we left the apartments. Really interesting, though, to see these environments shifting and textures sliding across the landscape in PS1 graphics. This is a really nice example of doing old visuals using modern technology. I believe this is on Unity. to get something that no one's seen before. Now look, the way these textures kind of skip and jump off across the horizon, it actually kind of reminds me of like driver issues on a graphics card. Can we run? We can, but we'll miss a lot going that fast. This is actually a little bit difficult to commentate on because it's all just so strange. I don't have anything to compare it to. The closest thing I can think of is when you go through the Oblivion portals in the Elder Scrolls, but even that's a stretch. Oh, look at that. It's like the landscape itself is stretching and twisting, like it's being sucked into a black hole. See, that looked like a lip, but it's going up and down, and when I approached, I didn't even have to jump, I just went up. Or did the landscape come down to meet me? Is there some objective I'm supposed to be making my way towards? I can't help but notice that the sky is getting redder and redder. And the glitches becoming more frequent and more intrusive. Oh, it's like each time it happens, it's like a jolt down my spine. I don't know how it does it. You know what this is like, now that I think about it? The rapid cuts between locations and the fast, smooth transition that leads to this great degradation. It's kind of like when you have a dream the night before you leave for a big trip. I've had a couple of those where I go through the entire process, especially if it's a trip that I've made before, and so I know the pathway. And it's like a twisted version of what you know is going to happen. And once you wake up, you're all groggy and it leaves doubt as to whether you're actually making the trip now or if you're still in the dream. I love those dreams where there's such a fine line, and you don't know if you've actually waken up yet. False awakening dreams are the best. One of these days, I'm going to have to read my dream journal on this channel. I have a crazy one where that happened. Oh, these glitches are making it so hard to stay on the staircase. It's so narrow and twisting to begin with, and I'm back in the woods. This character is in no shape to be investigating anything. I can't even trust my own perception. You know what? I think I've just realized what this game is doing. It's making it so that there's such a fine line between those low-res PS1 graphics and the distortion that's happening all around me. I'm not going to get anywhere by just thinking about what this is supposed to represent. I've got to walk if I'm to see where this is all going. I can't think of anything else to do but try to follow the glowing road, but the landscape, it's like it's rising up to overtake it, and I can't keep an eye on where it's flowing. It's almost like a river, but it's not making any sounds to indicate that I'm stepping in water. I just have to assume that it's leading me. Wait. That's a house. Okay, that's where I'm going. That's the first familiar thing I've seen in quite a while. Sorry to bother you, but is there anybody home? looking at this witch's house in the middle of, honestly, a still pretty bizarre looking forest. I can't help but be reminded of the legend that was featured in the Ghost Train, where you walk the tracks and just slowly become overtaken by the spirit world and end up wandering forever. This just got a whole lot less inviting. It's like there's pulsating tumors growing all over the house, covering doors and... Well, that was an abrupt ending. I didn't even have time to react to it. That was such a fever dream. You know, it actually kind of reminded me a little bit of Inland Empire. How in that movie, it talked about... So it starts off ostensibly about the production of a movie, but they come up with this whole story about how the production is cursed. Here, it's almost like a similar sort of bait and switch where they tell us about how this town celebrated Thanksgiving, and some tragedy put a stop to that, and we have to go up there and investigate. And that story, at least in a direct sense, is almost irrelevant, because what it's really about is how we start to completely crack up on the way to investigate that. Like, it gives us a story that we're thinking about as we go towards it, and the whole thing just degrades to the point where that's not even the subject of the experience anymore. The next one is titled Orange County, and the description reads, Elon's children, the beige. Middle-class housing, the beige. Sprinklers, the beige. Your skateboard feels like the only real thing in this place. Ah, so it's a game about suburbia. So we move with WASD and toggle the skateboard with shift. Ah, and we can move around like so. I just got kicked off. Are we not allowed to skate in the street? No, it doesn't look like it. Huh. And look, this one emulates the CRT style a little bit differently. It's got that grain, and you can almost see the pixels. Almost like when you were a kid and would put your face against the screen to see those lines. Now, looking around, this actually has kind of a similar vibe to the Violence District in LSD Dream Emulator. It's got that dreamlike feel due to the sky being completely black, and it makes you wonder, why am I out doing this so late at night? It seems like we're not talking about suburbia, but rather an urban area. The beige referring to the concrete bricks that the buildings are made of. That's a strange little car. That's like a SpongeBob police car. I can do an ollie with space. But I can't ride in the street, so I'm restricted to this area. Alright, well I can use this to get around a little more quickly. I can grind by holding space on the edge of that fountain. Alright, let's try that. It didn't work. I guess I have to jump and land on top and then hold space? I didn't expect to have to master moves. Didn't expect to be playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Hello. Things have become a little bit more distorted. I can't see anything. Alright, will I encounter something? Oh, what is with all these sprinklers everywhere? It's like they're making hoops for me to ride through. Maybe if I ride through them. Oop. It's kind of like trying to fly through rings in every flying game. Maybe these vending machines do something. Lo mein. Well, this has taken on a different tone. It's like all at once, everything went all high contrast. Or is it the way it was before? Oh, that was such a good example of boiling the frog slowly. I mean, I noticed the visual distortions, but I didn't even notice that low rumble that slowly increased to a roar. It seems like there's also more cars on the street than before. Yep, that seems to be the case. That car came out of nowhere and drove through the hedges while it was at it. Yeah, so it seems like it degrades when I wipe out. And I can restore it by eating from the vending machines. Did I just get hit by that sidewalk car? Oh, I got it. And I guess I must be moving in time with the fountain if it hasn't kicked me off yet. Awesome. But what does that do for me? Do I perhaps get something more if I'm able to grind on both fountains? Maybe I can get some more lo mein. No, it doesn't seem so. It seems like I only get to get hit with one health reload. Oh, got the other one, and I'm knocked off, because there's other overlapping fountains. You know what this is kind of making me think of? This is my interpretation of this game. It's an interpretation of a dream where you're trying to get this move right, and frustratingly enough, you just can't do it. And like, maybe you'll be able to do it over here, but then, you know, now that you have it in your head, there's this fountain that keeps knocking me off. You come over to the other one, and now there's just nonsensical fountain streams all over the place that make it impossible to complete this move. So it's like one of those frustrating dreams where you just can't do the thing that you're trying to do, and you have so little control over yourself. Or maybe I just suck at this. In any case, I think it's about time to move on to the next one. It seems like there might be more to this that I'm not getting, but I'm on a schedule here. I just accidentally pressed escape, which closed the game. And when I brought it back up, I was on the game that I played before, but I noticed that the things to the sides are actually different. So I guess it kind of randomizes the order as you play. Alright, well next up is Heartworm, and the description reads, Sam receives a strange tape in the mail. Watching it brings her to a deeply unsettling place that feels strangely familiar. Oh! Oh, that's cool. There is such variety in these games. This is a third-person, almost Resident Evil-style fixed-camera game. Oh, this is so neat. I'm really starting to see the potential in the demo disc format. It's like a horror variety show in the medium of gaming. And you know, come to think of it, I can't believe I haven't thought of the idea of gaming horror anthologies. Maybe we can check out that object on the table. No? Okay, well, what's on the desk over there? Okay, so we can sprint. Clinician's evaluation. Sam, redacted. 23-year-old female, average height and weight, no relevant medical history. Patient reported insomnia, recurring intrusive thoughts related to self-harm and harm to others, low self-esteem, self-obsessive tendencies, episodes of panic, and high baseline anxiety. Patient described these symptoms as chronic and varying in severity. possibly related to traumatic events from childhood. Patient also mentioned social relationships suffering as a result of symptoms. Preliminary labs returned normal. Heart rate and blood pressure elevated. Patient avoided eye contact and appeared anxious. She only spoke when queried. Patient appeared detached, preoccupied with thoughts. Assessment. The following diagnoses are based on currently available information and may change as additional information becomes available. Post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, anxiety disorder, unspecified, major depressive disorder, recurrent moderate, panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder. Plan. Need to gather more information. Patient referred to psychiatrist for further evaluation and urged to follow up at clinic in 7 days. Patient encouraged to research exposure therapy. So we're playing as a character who has all sorts of issues and has now received a mysterious VHS tape in the mail slot that actually, pretty good hand on the person who threw it in. That got some distance. I picked up the VHS tape. Let's see what's on it. Oh, I'm actually playing this. Wait, so does that mean that this character is actually experiencing this? Not just watching a tape, but actually their mind has shifted to the moment. Oh, this fixed camera is so disorienting. This actually kind of reminds me of what little I've seen of the original Silent Hill. Do you remember? Yeah. With a laundry list of disorders like that, you definitely expect a little bit of a mind screw of a game. Alright, let's walk up to this property, I guess. When I was younger, I really disliked fixed cameras, but they've kind of started to grow on me because they can kind of frame things in such a way where things... You sort of experience things the way the game wants you to experience them. And, if I feel like if gameplay is going to be a big focus, then that's a problem, but if it's something like Silent Hill, where you're going for narrative, I think it actually has some merit. Oh, we can actually kind of see through the windows somewhat. It's locked from the other side. In fact, I actually feel like fixed cameras can help the most with a dreamlike narrative, because in a dream, you so rarely have your own perspective. Like, it'll be first person, but not. What are you? Okay, I'm on a schedule. I'm just gonna run towards you and hope we don't get a jump scare. Thank you very much. I can see another light over there on the right. Is there gonna be another shed back there? Yeah, it looks like the garage door is open a little bit. Maybe we can pull it up. The opening is too small to crawl through and the door won't budge. Okay, what about the side door? Locked. And it looks like I'm moving further into the yard, or maybe I can come over here and walk in the back door. Also, what is with all these boards covering the fences? They were up in the road as well. Then again, I suppose I should be taking this as more of a dream and less at face value. But that just means that I don't question why it's there, I question what it represents, so that's not exactly a good philosophy to prevent thought spiral. Hello? Credit where credit is due, there's nothing like fixed camera angles for building your dread as you approach corners. Knowing that you won't be at the top of your game, ready to deal with whatever's around it. The TV won't turn off. There's a VHS player with no tape in it. Anything of use on the table? No. And it looks like the staircase has a bunch of debris piled on it so as to prevent me from going up. The stairs are completely blocked off. This reminds me of old houses from my childhood. Places I'd go to visit relatives and such. I feel like these days, architecture is so open-ended where you can see everything from everywhere. I actually miss architecture like this, where there's a lot of corners. It makes everything feel so much smaller and cozier. The requisite creepy painting in the weird old house. A key. Hallucinations as a trauma-based memory. Implications for psychological interventions. Yep, did I call it or what? Routine information processing involves a process called contextual integration, whereby detailed encoding of incoming stimuli takes place, which facilitates later memory recall. For example, being able to remember who was at your birthday by recalling a full contextual image of the event. Also, being able to remember what happened before and after a specific event, due to integration of relevant temporal information. However, during a traumatic event, the need for a quick behavioral response requires rapid information processing. This is achieved through a temporary decrease in contextual integration and a quick response based on a basic perceptual processing. The provision of a rapid response to danger has the consequence of a vulnerability to experiencing intrusive memories of the stressful event at a future date. The reduced contextual processing of the trauma stimuli makes them difficult to recall on a voluntary basis, due to the lack of integration with cues which normally facilitate recall. However, the information is typically triggered involuntarily by stimuli which have a perceptual match to some aspect of the traumatic event, e.g., sound or visual stimuli which invokes memory of the event. So, it's almost like memories becoming tangled and associated with each other due to common stimuli, if I'm understanding this correctly. Therefore, within these theories, reduced levels of contextual integration are considered central to the development of trauma-related intrusive memories. Thereafter, the intrusions may be maintained through a number of cognitive and behavioral processes, such as avoidance, in order to develop a presentation of PTSD. However, in order to be diagnosed with PTSD, the individual, or their clinician, is likely to be confident that the intrusions are in fact memories of a stressful event. A number of pages are destroyed. Wait, hang on. So it's not clear, if I'm understanding correctly, if these memories really happened or not. Then again, there's so much psychology in there that I honestly didn't really understand half of it. In summary, the relationship between hearing voices, seeing visions, and traumatic events continues to intrigue clinical researchers. However, a full theoretical understanding remains elusive. The subgroup of voices and visions which are directly linked to stressful events are likely to be responsive to interventions which are based on well-developed theoretical understanding of reactions to trauma. Okay. You know, when you put it like that, it almost seems like this isn't just psychological horror, but actually psychology horror. Like, it's almost horror in the gaps between what we know and what we don't know about our own psychological processes. Can I exit through the front door? I unlocked it, so I can go out that way now. Can I go upstairs now? No. Is there anything else I haven't explored? Because if not, I think I'm just going to go out the front door. There's like a red glow in the backyard that I don't think was there before. And come to think of it, wait a minute, from the other side, I'm pretty sure the fence around the house was chain link, wasn't it? Or no, maybe it's more towards the back. Maybe those are the tops of the boards that I'm seeing as a silhouette. Alright, let's get back there. Now to go back to the dream logic, we could see the silhouette of a person in the fog as we walked back here that disappeared as we approached. Now I feel like, were this a dream, we would be perceiving that as there's someone here, but we don't know who they are, and we can't prove that they're here. It looks like some kind of hatch. The doors won't budge. Can we open this fence? Yeah, there's definitely something glowing back there. The gate is locked. A chain and padlock are wrapped around the handle. But I did get a key. There's something I can unlock. I can unlock something somewhere. Maybe it's the garage. Oops. I unlocked it with the garage key. Excellent. I kind of like how it actually doesn't tell you what key it is. You have to just kind of figure it out through trial and error. There's a book up there. It actually looks to be the same book that we've been seeing on all the tables. But the book isn't the important thing. It's this mess of VHS tapes on the table and on the ground. I can't seem to examine them. It's like they've all been thrown off of this one shelf in particular. Can I put them back? I mean, if this were a puzzle, my bet would be that I have to put all the tapes back on the one shelf that they're missing from. Narcissus and Goldmund, Hermann Hesse. He thought that all men trickled away, changing constantly until they finally dissolved, while the artist created images remained unchangeably the same. Well, unless you're George Lucas. He thought that the fear of death was perhaps the root of all art, perhaps also of all things of the mind. We fear death. We shudder at life's instability. We grieve to see the flowers wilt again and again, and in our hearts we know that we, too, are transitory, and will search for laws and formulate thoughts. It's in order to salvage something from the great dance of death, to make something that lasts longer than we do. Perhaps the woman after whom the master shaped the beautiful Madonna is already wilted or dead, and soon he too will be dead. Others will live in his house and eat at his table, but his work will still be standing hundreds of years from now and longer. It will go on shimmering in the quiet cloister church, unchangingly beautiful, forever smiling with the same sad, flowering mouth. Okay, but I'm not here to philosophize. I'm here to find a key of some sort and make some progress. Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought something was up because I was able to see lightning, like, coming from under a gap. Okay, so it was a hint that I can actually push the shelf. I don't know if I can call that a good puzzle or not, because I think it's really, really cool. But I also could just as easily have ended up looking for that for a long time. I flip the switch, and down comes the ladder to the upper level where that book is. Oops. Now what's up here? I picked up the red book. Okay, but what does that do for me? Maybe I can put it on a shelf or something? I'm trying to think where something like that would be used, because as far as I know, there's no inventory for me to search. And I can't help but notice that a similar book has been on every table I've encountered so far in front of a TV. Hello. I was just trying to look out the window to see if I can find out what's glowing, but it seems we've got another draggable. Come on. Can I grab onto you somehow? Maybe I'll figure something out later. Clearly this fridge moves because there's drag marks along the wall. Oh, wait. Yes, there's a gap in the books on the shelf here, which I believe... Wait, wouldn't this be right behind the fridge? I placed the fake book in the empty space. Yes, there we go. I bet that leads to like an attic or a basement or something. Basement doors are very often in kitchens, right? Alright, let's get over there. This is such a cozy house. I mean, just look at this. That detailed wallpaper and wooden wainscoting, I think that's what it's called. With the flickering TV and couch while the rain pours outside the windows. This is my kind of place. Let's find out what's behind door number 2. I'll be honest, I'm totally sold on fixed cameras when there's no combat to be done now. I think this is my first real exposure to it in an adventure game because the time when these were common is a little bit before my time. But these fixed cameras, they're just doing something for me right now. I really, really like them. There's some kind of strange light in the corner. Oh, I can push this bookshelf. Well, I don't want to do that just yet. I think I can already get through. Huh. The camera has actually become a gameplay element. It's not going to follow me through that gap. Alright, let's push you, I guess. But it seems like we're sealing off the area that I'm trying to get to. What has that done for me? Well, I can walk around the stairs around this way. No, this is where I just... No, it's not where I just was. I can push this also. I'm a little bit confused about the layout right now. Like, normally I'm pretty good at having a mental map of an area I'm in, but these fixed cameras make it a little bit difficult. Oh, this basement is just full of them. What is that? An elevator? Alright, well, let's read this letter, I guess. A lot of reading in this game. Letter from T. Sam. I tried calling, but your phone is disconnected, and I didn't know what else to do. Everyone is worried. Your boss called Mom and said you stopped showing up. I called Jane, but she said she's not talking to you anymore. I know I haven't always been there for you, but if you need anything, I want to help. What's going on with you? Is this about what happened? It was 10 years ago, Sam. It's not your fault. You can't hang on to this forever. I love you. Please call me. T. Alright, let's see what's down the elevator. I've had such good luck with these in games. Oh, it's so rickety. Rain is coming through from the outside. That music leads me to believe we're reaching some sort of climax. Oh, what a cool illusion. It looked like we were heading down a dark corridor heading towards the light. But it's not light filling the void, it actually is a dark path extending through an open area. Ending in another TV with a VCR. And that figure from before is behind me.
Do you remember the first time you realized that one day you were going to die? Do you remember the way that fear went through you? Like electricity? The way it consumed your thoughts? The way it paralyzed you? Do you remember that day? Don't worry. I'll remind you.
To be continued. Oh. Now, on the itch.io page, which of course I'll be linking in the description, some of them had a tag next to them that said trial. Now, I didn't read what each of the games were, I just noticed that detail, and I wonder if that means that some of these will actually have a full version somewhere. Okay, well, I really enjoyed that one. There's obviously a whole lot to unpack there that I don't really have time for, but suffice to say, I think that was one of the better... I mean, a lot of horror games do the thing where they tackle things like mental illness and different anxieties that people might have through kind of a Silent Hill-esque story. And I really enjoyed that particular implementation of it. But I gotta move on now. Alright, next up is Fatum Betula? Fatum Betula? Fatum Betula? Whatever, let's try it. Placed in a world without change, you must create fate by watering an ancient plant, determine a future, and live with it. With a description like that, it almost sounds like something you'd find on the shelf of a thrift store in a creepypasta. The blind Chinese man sells it to you, and then when you come back to return it the next day, the store is gone. Interesting how each of these kind of has their own intro, being made by different developers and all. Yeah, we saw this already. Here's another first-person one, but why does this one in particular feel so weirdly nostalgic? You know what I think it is? I think it's reminding me of Crayola 3D Castle Creator. And look, something that's also interesting to me is how each one has chosen to emulate the CRT look. So we saw a couple of solutions in the last couple of games, but this one right here is actually just a 4:3 aspect ratio, or close to it, something like that. The point is it's not widescreen. Now, it's said that I'm meant to create the future by watering an ancient plant. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, I have an inventory. Some say the air itself has a face. It's true. A child once bore witness to its piercing eyes. Wrecked with grief, she traveled to the end of a narrow stone path atop a river and pleaded the cold to show itself. The sight of nothing stole her gaze, and she waited still. A horrible row of teeth soon reflected her image, and she was gone. The wind stole her, not with change, but with truth. But what does that mean with regards to this? Ah, I had to stare into the distance. Now what happens if I don't run? I'm still staring. I bet you blink first. Consider this tree and our land to be one and the same. A synecdoche. Synecdoche? I don't know how to pronounce that. Both are kept between the living and the dead. This ancient water holds its roots in limbo. As such, everything here has failed to accept entropy. Common theme with these games now. I've considered us to have not existed in a previous state at all. The plant is our fate, and its water our fuel. I will provide you with the tools to make alterations. Do whatever you must, but don't feed it with what you bleed. What was I just given? Okay, so what do I have? I have... Each of these vials is something different. So I can select them like that, but which is which? Oh, I can collect water from here, and feed it, right? I can't get the advice monster to come back. Maybe I can leave? Ah, here we go. Can I go back? Oh, I can. Okay, so I can actually move between areas now. So I've got my 3 vials full of water. Now I can begin exploring this place. So it's like this strange garden actually represents the world itself. Or am I creating a new reality? There's a note here. It reads, "If you are reading this, I am dead. This tool once aided my research, and I hope it will do you the same. Be warned. I fear this blade has become weak with age, and it may only have a few strikes in it. Well, I guess I have it now. The question is, what do I use it for? Will there be enemies, or will I maybe use it to cut something down? Are there... It looks like there's fish swimming in the water. There's a lot of life in this area. Huh. This really is reminding me of LSD Dream Emulator. I tried to sleep and I wake up from this serene garden to this glitchy new reality. The whole thing feels very metaphorical. Choosing what to water the tree of life with? Through the gap, that's the only thing I can think to do. What have I done? I feel like maybe I should have explored a little more before I went to sleep. And it's just brought me back facing the other direction. The only thing I can think to try now is sleeping again. Let's try it. So sleeping transports us to like an alternate dream reality. And perhaps that'll be useful for something in the future. Let's try exploring the bamboo forest. A small dock with more fish. I feel like I can put my sword away. This is such a peaceful thing. This area actually reminds me a lot of the areas around Hogwarts in the PC Sorcerer's Stone game. Only in first person. Hello, who are you? Some kind of cat creature? I don't know how long I've been here. There's constant pain in my empty stomach. Can I maybe find you something to eat? Maybe one of those fish. Oh, I did not mean to fall down there. But I guess it's okay. Now, it's strange. There's a transition between those areas where when we come out of the woods, we have that nice music and a beautiful blue sky, but back there it's all black. Maybe we can get on this boat and fish something for the cat. Oops. No such luck. Maybe if I try interacting with it. Maybe I can cut this? Yes, there we go. But it's going all the way over there. Will I have to run across the water to interact with it? This is all very serene. It kind of makes me wonder what it's actually doing here in this collection. Although I suppose there is kind of an existential horror in the entire premise. Although it did say that, like, not every game in the collection was necessarily horror. Just that some of them just kind of fit the mood, so I wonder if this will actually come around to be something that has that vibe. A gravestone for a fisherman sits here. It reads, "May we see him in our dreams." Now that gives me an idea. First, let's try interacting with this boat. I have the fishing rod, which I can use to get a fish, right? Come on, come to Papa. If I can grab myself a fish, then maybe I can feed it to the cat. Oh, gotcha. Okay, now I have something to feed the cat. Hey, I found you some food. Here you go. So, are we friends now? Thank you for the energy. I needed it. Now, I should return the favor. Here, take some of this black stuff. I know we produced plenty of it back home. Although I can hardly remember my home. All I can seem to recall is fire. What is this? So it seems like we're trying to collect all these different substances to kind of decide what goes into the creation of a new world. It's almost like all of this exists after some kind of apocalypse, and the world just kind of ebbs and flows, sort of. I guess the best way I can describe it is not ebbs and flows, but comes and goes. Like the whole universe is cyclic. Now, it may be just a little bit difficult, but perhaps if we sleep, we can go over to that gravesite and see the fisherman in our dreams. With the wacky things this terrain is doing, it's certainly not easy. Actually, interestingly enough, it seems like the texture of the terrain is actually our view. I've got to make my way around to there without stumbling into the water. Now what happens? A gallows. Was that there before? It reads, "Please cut my shackle of rope." Will do. Strike. I said strike. There we go. Ugh! What are you? Oh, and the blade is broken. My cutting days are over. I was a man once. A dangerous fish caused my fate. Its flesh could kill an immortal, but it can't harm plants. An immortal's death will never matter, though. Ghosts can't die. The boredom is too much, and I wish to poison the future. You need to feed this fruit to anything with a beating heart. Take the victim's blood. I know the plant. Please kill it. Save us all from eternity. We need non-existence. Okay, well, I'm gonna not do that. However, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I understand. I understand how in a cyclic universe that seemingly never ends, non-existence may be considered preferable. But I'm gonna drop myself off. Actually, if I jump in the water, we can probably drop ourselves off back in front of the hut. And that'll bring us that much closer to ending this nightmare. And we have the fruit. But I think we'll probably not be going anywhere with this. In fact, we may have missed the boat. I think kind of the evil route to take. Well, I guess evil is dependent on your point of view here, but I guess that point of view would be to feed the cat the fruit, have it die, and then harvest its blood. Yes, actually now that we have the oil, perhaps we can see what happens when we feed something to the plant. No. Perhaps I have to come back, or maybe I can put it in the water. Yes. Hello? Intelligent life naturally destroys what it owns. Though nothing claims the whims of nature. A victory through its destruction is vapid. A parasite cannot survive without a host. This planet will be fine without you. Its roots will flow to hell. Its branches will rise to heaven. Overgrown. Lest us not forget what we are in its eyes. Ending 1. Parasites. Oh, so there's multiple endings, and... Okay, now I thought we would be assembling up to 3 different components to figure out what we were going to shape the world into. But it seems like there's a different... It seems like there's essentially a different lesson depending on what it is that we put into it. In this case, we chose oil, and so what we got was a message about destruction through exploitation. Okay, I don't have time to pursue the other ones right now, but certainly a valuable game. And there is actually, I think I was right on the money. It's this existential terror in the idea that we all have a hand in shaping what our world is. And most roads are not positive ones in that regard. The next one is Sauna 2000. Sauna warming simulator. Feel Finland. Finland feels you. Is this whole thing just going to be a joke about Finland? Chop wood. Carry water from lake to sauna. Warm the sauna. Oop, I didn't get a chance to read all that. Have to warm the sauna before sunset.
Mihinkähän sen kirveen tuuppasin?
Yeah, where is my axe? Okay, so we've been given a simple goal. Get wood to warm the sauna before sunset. Now we've got to find our axe so we can chop that wood. And so far, it's taken the Finnish countryside, a beautiful sunset on the lake, and probably the most comfortable thing of all, a sauna. This is deceptively peaceful, and I can't wait to see if it goes off the rails in some way. So I guess this is the sauna itself. And that voice is both normal and yet somehow creepy due to how distorted it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and chop the logs for firewood. Better to take aim for a bit. Well, how do I do that? Okay, so that's clearly a real thing. But how do I aim? Do I just have to wait a second? One hit, great. Okay, so I'm not just mashing click, I gotta wait a second. Is that all? Take wood to sauna. Do I have to pick them up individually, or... No? Gotta collect it in the carrier. Okay, what's the carrier? Is that this? Ah! Ah, well, at least this guy's excited! Okay, that's just what we needed. A Finnish forest monster. Of course, Scandinavia has all kinds of legends about the creatures in its tall, thin forests. It sounds like the radio has turned itself on.
Sitten saunalle.
Is there some kind of sauna demon? I feel like I know nothing about Finnish mythology, but that seems like it would be a thing. Alright, let's put that in there, and now we need to get some water for steam.
Ennen kuin tästä saunaa alkaa.
I guess we probably have to grab this bucket over here.
Missähän se ämpäri nyt oli?
Is this not the bucket? This looks very bucket-like, or perhaps more of a flower pot. This is probably the bucket, right? No, that's not a bucket either? What about this? I'm seeing so many buckets.
Vettä pitää kantaa ennen kuin...
Here we go. This is...
Se pitää lähteä vettä nostamaan tuolta laiturin.
This is the bucket I'm allowed to carry. Oh, this background looks so weird. It's giving me real Truman Show vibes. Grab some water. Will that be enough, though? I'll probably have to make several trips, right?
Laiturin nokkaa vettä nostelemaan.
From a distance, it almost looks like there's a face smeared on that window, doesn't it? And it doesn't really look so much like it as you get close, but yeah, can't you kind of see the skull? There's the eyes and the mouth.
Se olikin siinä. Tästä tulee ihan tarpeeksi kuumaa kylpyvettä.
Okay, I guess we have to get a little more still.
Kyllä toinen ämpärillinen tuonne varmaan mahtuu.
One more bucket full. This will be the 4th trip, which means we're very likely to see something on the way back. But what? Something's clearly not right. And this guy's clearly not right in his head after he saw what we saw. He's still... maybe that's the typical Finnish attitude, but he seems like he's still pretty dead set on this sauna trip. I knew we'd see something out that window sooner or later. That sun is seemingly getting lower on the horizon. If we're gonna stay here, I'd really like to close that door. If nothing else, to keep the steam from getting out. Add wood to furnace.
Hyvä kun tsekkasin, pitääpä tyhjät. Missä se tuhkaämpäri taas olikaan? Pihalla.
Oh, that thing outside is probably the ash bucket, the thing that I first thought was the bucket. Oops, I was having a little bit of trouble getting through the doorway there. Yeah, this must be the ash bucket. I never knew there was so much involved in preparing a sauna.
Pimeähän tuo tulleempi.
It's getting dark. Oh yeah, it really is. Is now really the time you want to be in an isolated hut in the middle of nowhere? Come on, add wood to furnace. Add wood to furnace. Wow, there's some really funky stuff going on with the textures. It's like they're distorting as I... Oh, close. Where are you? What's out there? Oh, you're over there. What are you? Oh crap, I must have to... I probably have to start this quickly, right? I think I'm about to lose. I think I should have been doing this the whole time. Gotta go? I can't see anything. How am I supposed to go? Oh, it's broken through the window. Gotta go. How do I go? Climb up and out through the window, right? I can't see a thing. I think this is it for little old me. Yeah, sorry, I can't do anything while it's distorted like this.
Mitä perkelettä?
What the heck? This is not the turn that I expected these things to take. Sorry if my entire commentary on this part has just been incoherent screaming, but this level is nothing but incoherent screaming, and... well, we're in the body hall, but my objective is still to add wood to the furnace. This character is really dedicated to his sauna trip, I'll give him that. A child playing video games? I'm just in like a regular house now. What am I supposed to make of this? I can't open the bathroom door. I can't move the mouse anymore. I don't even know what to say to that. I have to say, because pretty much every observation I can make about that can only be done, like, in the past tense. That was really, really neat. I like the idea of doing this kind of... I like the idea of going about this mundane relaxation task, and it just slowly falls apart. And I guess my best interpretation of that, I actually really like the idea that this character may have done something bad. And so the paranormal side of things, as we're preparing, may have been a total bait and switch. Like it's just another part of this character's mental breakdown. It sort of reminds me of a movie, well, I couldn't... saying the title would be a little bit of a spoiler, so I'm just gonna move on. Next game is titled Filth Breed. And the description reads, "Filth comes crawling out of the cracks." Ambiguous. I'm curious. Welcome to Filth Breed. Would you like to read the tutorial? Yes. Click to advance the slideshow narration. Use the arrow keys to move and the mouse to look around. Once you find a firearm, scroll up the mouse wheel to draw your gun and click to shoot. You can't interact with objects in your surroundings if you're ready to open fire. Lower your guard and holster your weapon by scrolling down. Click on objects to interact with them, depending on the prompt shown at the bottom of the screen. Ammo is sparse, and there's no health recovery, so don't go in guns a-blazing. So I actually have to be careful with when I decide to ready my weapon, and it seems like for the first time in this anthology, there will actually be a survival horror element to it. Homeless shelters all across the state have reported the disappearance of several people in the past few months. Investigators are pointing to Michigan truck driver Louis Burton as a prime suspect. Having a well-documented track record of smuggling cocaine across the border, he too is nowhere to be found. His former partner has confirmed Burton's involvement in the case, but remains adamant that he's not absconding. According to his testimony, Burton's been recruited by a local cult and held captive in an unknown location. While these claims have yet to be verified, a transport truck matching that of the suspect has been located next to a warehouse in the outskirts of Detroit. Higher-ups remain skeptical, but you've been tasked to search the area for any evidence pertaining to the case. So there's been numerous disappearances, a trucker is suspected, and his partner claims that he's been abducted by a cult. It seems like the kind of thing I shouldn't be going into on my own. Okay, I can't search these drawers. Scrolling I thought it said scrolling up would ready my weapon. Hello? Oh, I'm getting serious Condemned vibes from this. This doesn't seem like the kind of place I should be entering alone, given the circumstances of the case. Graphically, it actually reminds me less of a PS1 game, and more of those mobile games, those mobile horror games, such as Granny. I took the gun right out of his pocket, and the idiot didn't even flinch. If only I'd done it before. It's too late for me now. Whoever's reading this, I pray you can make better use of it. Just don't bother aiming for the head. I've seen those freaks last well over a week without it. What do you mean you've seen them last over a week without it? And why do I not have my own gun? No. No! I think I might have wasted a shot there, but it explicitly told me don't go for headshots. There's clearly something more going on here than a cult. Okay, so 3 or 4 body shots will kill one of those things. And that's a really important thing to note because we may not have enough ammo to deal with them. You were right, Sally. We should never have trusted these crazy guys. They keep us all down here in the dark, trapped like cattle. We're just animals to them. Some of us are even starting to act the part. There's this Lucas guy who walks on all fours and bites you when you're sleeping. I miss you, Sally. I miss the gang back home. I miss Brightmoor. I hear them chanting again. It's time. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the huge variety in these games. It's so cool being able to hop from these short experiences, going between them, and having these kind of abstract concept-based horror games the one moment, and more traditional survival horror the next. All the while going between all these different sort of classic horror tropes, as well as classic nostalgia tropes. I saw you lurking on the edge of the shadow there. You took a little bit more. I think maybe I have to aim for that center mass, like the very center mass. Where's more of you? There's like some kind of ripple effect coming from underneath this door. Let's read another note for an idea of what's behind it. What time is it? What day is it? It all just blends together after a while. I can't even tell dreams from reality anymore. No matter if I open or close my eyes, it's only this pitch-black shroud around me. What's worse is the things I do hear. I wish I didn't. These crawling hands and feet all over the ceiling. And they can't all be mine. I am in love with the way these notes are written. The harsh vignetting on the screen and the crumbling nature of this place. It all paints a picture of this very dark, hellish environment that you can't escape. It's also claustrophobic and nightmarish, and you just feel so trapped. And we can't open this door at all, just leading us with our imagination to decide what's behind it. But from the looks of it, it seems like they've been keeping a lot of people down here. Which begs the question, are these things that we've been encountering the people that are brought down here? Is that what they become? Every time I wake up, there are roaches in my mouth. Are they getting in or coming out? Clever little buggers, pulling out my teeth, laying eggs in my tongue, under my tongue, so I can't chew and spit. Every time I wake up, there are roaches in my mouth. Are they getting in or coming out? I can't take it. I feel so inspired by the way this game is putting its atmosphere across. Like, it's just using this energy of sickness and disgust and being trapped within it all. This might be one of the most hopeless vibes I've ever felt from a game. Where are you? Bugs crawling all over everything. There's gotta be something here. What are you? That reminds me of the siren from Lost in Vivo. I don't imagine I can safely enter. What's coming? Alright, center mass. 3 shots to very center mass, which means I can at most kill 1 more of you. And that's it. I've lost a chunk of health and I'm completely out of ammo. I gotta find more or I'm not gonna be able to progress. I can pull open the shutters, but is that what I want to do? Well, I guess there's no choice now. There's nothing else I can do at this point but run. What was this place, or is it even meant to be anything real at all? Looks like some kind of sacred book. What language is that? Yeah, this thing is just for moral support at this point. Oh, it's like I step into a closet and find myself in a maze. Very easy to think in that scenario, I'll just go a little bit deeper. And next thing I know, I'm walking down all kinds of winding halls. Thus spoke the slumbering prophet of Gorgorin. It took a sick god to imagine a world this filthy, a vile god to shape a world this cruel. It takes a world this filthy to shelter us all in its putrid bosom. It takes a world this cruel to nurture us all into an existence of agony. We are but mold on the rotting apple. We are but the shadows of a madman's dance in the fire. Man is not doomed, but destined to ruin. Man is not to purge, but to fester the world. Witch innards reveal the path. Bring forth the lice mother. And that's exactly what this atmosphere is. It is just an overwhelming sensation of filth. It seems like it's not talking about this environment. In universe, this is a cult based around their interpretation of our world. I think I found our trucker. Jesus. No doubt this is the guy. His gut is burst open and full of maggots. But the body shows no signs of rotting yet. Were they nesting inside him? It's like they were already in there. This might be one of the most grotesque games I've ever seen. It's like a nightmare where you wake up in bed and the whole mattress is covered in bugs. Please, my kingdom for some ammunition. Those sounds are so thick, it's like I can feel my shoes getting stuck and pulling out of that slime. And it's so cramped, like it's created these absolutely putrid walls, and making it feel like I want to stay away from them, like I have no choice but to touch them. I've been struggling to commentate on some of these more abstract games, but this one is actually giving me quite a lot to talk about. No, 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 no! No, 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 there's nothing I can do. I have no ammo. There was nothing I could do about that unless I missed some ammo somewhere. Do I have to start that whole thing all over again? Alright, I'm gonna finish this, but I think that'll be the end of the video. Alright, this time we really have to make an effort to make every single shot count. I thought I was doing pretty well, but it seems like we really need to try hard to take each one down in 3 shots. One, 2, 3, no, 4, 5. So they have variable health. That is not conducive to an environment in which we have limited ammo like this. Okay, but this time, because we didn't try to go in that room, we didn't encounter the other 2 monsters. Having this mechanic where you have to draw and holster your gun makes for some really nice panic moments. Like, you come through here, you have to lower your gun to pull open the shutter, and then once you're through, you have to have the presence of mind to quickly raise your gun and fire off a bunch of shots center mass. You were right, Sally. We should never... Wait. We've seen this before. Yes, this is the starting area. So, do we have to leave? Am I just trying to get out now? You block the old iron door and take a moment to bask in the sun, out of the reach of those creatures. Back at the station, you debrief your superior on everything you found. You don't even bother trying not to sound crazy. After a moment of awkward silence, he finally congratulates you for the good work. He then suggests you take a couple-day break. You go home and try your best to get some sleep. Come morning, you wake up to the news of a fire at the warehouse. The place went up in flames well before a team could be dispatched to check on your findings. It's all gone. 12 bodies have been recovered so far, but police are hesitant to identify them as human. Yes, vindicated. They're hard and hollow, like man-shaped chitin shells. Ending 3, pest control. Oh, so there's multiple endings. It's a short experience, but one which we can go through multiple times, and I wonder what could have affected it. Also, I swear I just saw somebody picking up ammo in the little preview window. Ah, here's some ammo. All the way through that I went before has been blocked off. Now I have the opportunity to leave, but doing so will net me the same ending. And I can't go back the way I came. I think I'm actually locked into this ending by coming this far. Alright, so we gotta remember to come into the side room and pick up the ammo. That'll give us an extra magazine. Might be the only extra ammo on the map. Yep, got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, if I recall rightly, trying to enter here will cause 2 of those things to enter. I accidentally wasted a shot. And now we have 1 full magazine remaining. But we can't enter. I wonder what they'll think when they recover that after the fire. This wasn't like this before. The 2 that attack you, they must come out, or at least one of them must come out of here. Okay, well, I guess I'm done trying to get the different endings now, but I just love the atmosphere that it's gone for here. I mean, it could not have chosen a better title. Filth Breed. A cult that worships, what do they call it, the Lice Mother? It is just concentrated filth, and I love it. So that was just part 1 of the Haunted PS1 Demo Disc 2020. And I am fascinated by this concept. I can't believe I never thought of a gaming horror anthology before. A lot of these are so cool. I'm sorry if I struggled with the commentary a little bit. It tends to be a problem for me with the more abstract games. It doesn't mean I don't think they're cool, it's just because I'm not sure what to say. But if you enjoyed this, there will definitely be more to come. It's going to take me, at this rate, at least 2 more parts to get through this disc. And don't forget, there's still another disc after this, and there may be another one for 2022. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to do that is at the Discord at the link in the description. If you want to try this out, I will be linking both this and its sequel in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. And before then, let me know in the comments down below, which of these was your favorite and why?